You know, Paul is a different kind of apostle. Paul was taught by the Lord himself for 3 years apart from the other apostles. And it's interesting. A lot of people today will call themselves apostles. And let me say unequivocally, we have no apostles today. Amen. They're gone. The age of the apostles is over. There are no apostles today. According to the book of Ephesians, chapter 2, the apostles, right, and the prophets were the foundation upon which the church is built. I don't know how many foundations your house has. Mine only has one. Huh? The foundation is done. We do not have apostles today. The apostles have the authority to give us the scriptures. We do not have people today who have the authority to give us the scriptures. We do not have apostles today. Well, you say that, and then people always go, but wait a minute, though. Brother, we got Paul, right? Paul had his own encounter with the Lord. I had my own encounter with the Lord. So I'm an apostle just like Paul was an apostle. Well, at the end of Galatians chapter 1, in verse 18, Paul says, "Then after 3 years, I went up to Jerusalem to visit Cephas, or Peter, and remain with him 15 days. Why, after the 3 years that he spent with the Lord, did Paul go to Jerusalem to spend 15 days with Peter? He doesn't say. But chapter 2, beginning of verse 1, this is shortly after his statement about going up for 15 days after 3 years. Then after 14 years, I went up again to Jerusalem with Barnabas, taking Titus along with me. I went up because of a revelation and set before them, though privately before those who seemed influential, the gospel that I proclaimed among the Gentiles, in order to make sure I was not running or had not run in vain." Paul didn't say, I had my own experience. I'm an apostle in my own right. After 3 years, he went up and spent 15 days with Peter. Why? To make sure that what he had been given was in line with what the 12 had been given. Then after 14 more years, he went up again to make sure that his gospel lined up with the gospel of the other apostles. He did not see himself as an independent apostle. He did not see his gospel as beyond question and separate from the gospel that the other apostles preached. He knew that his gospel must be the historic gospel. And he says, if it wasn't, then he too would have run in vain. Are you hearing me? We don't get to change the gospel. Paul knew that he didn't get to change the gospel. He's an apostle, and he didn't have the authority to change the gospel. So the gospel that we proclaim is the historic gospel. It is the gospel that the apostles preached and that has been preserved for us in the scriptures.